So the title of my talk is The Journey. So Miley Cyrus wrote that song, The Climb. And there's a lot of dualistic lyrics here, but not really, when you really think about it. So she says in the song, there's always going to be another mountain. I'm always going to want to make it move. Can you relate to that lyric? Yeah. There's always going to be another mountain. There's always going to be another something that I want to change. I want to move through. I want to create in my life, right? Or there's always going to be something that comes up and I'm going to think to myself, that's not it. I want something different. And I want to make that happen. Do you all have that feeling at times? This side does? This side, okay. So these lyrics always worked for me. And then it's always going to be an uphill battle. Is it? Well. Here's the thing. If you are reaching beyond your comfort zone, it's probably going to feel like an uphill, not battle, but an uphill journey. Because this is all about the climb. This is all about the mountain, this particular song. It's all about that thing in front of you, and I know you all have it, something in front of you that's big. And you guys, you face this all the time, these mountains, these things that you're going to want to climb, you're going to want to accomplish, you're going to want to do. And she says, it's always going to be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm going to have to lose. How many of you have ever lost at something? How many of you have never lost at anything in your entire life? And there you have it. We're all in the right place. Okay. Love this line. It ain't about how fast I get there, and it ain't about what's waiting on the other side. How many of you have spent your life trying to get somewhere? How many of you spent so much wasted energy trying to be something that you know is going to happen later? But it doesn't, does it? Because here it is, here you are, and you just walk around with it at an arm's distance because it's always there. And it ain't about what's waiting on the other side, it's the climb. So I call the climb the journey, and that's really what she's talking about. It's about the journey that we're all taking. It's about our lives. It's about the way we're living our lives. It's about the way we have lived our lives. It's about the way we want to live our lives. I read that article this morning and I thought, that's how I want to live my life. I want to live my life on a spiritual journey inward, not necessarily a journey outward. So I'm going to tell you something very personal about me that you might not have known, which is that I'm a type A personality. No, seriously, I really am. So I am a type A personality. Now, what I have to ask myself is, how did I come to understand? How did I come to know that I'm a type A personality? I mean, did I just come out of the womb competitive? Yes. Tough room. So, was this just who I was my entire life? I don't know. Did I even know what type A behavior was? Do you know how I learned what type A behavior was? How many of you know the actor Barry Nelson? That's your age. Barry Nelson won an Oscar for the movie Oh Mary or something. No, that's a Broadway show. But something about Mary, but not that movie. But he won an Oscar. I got to star opposite him in 42nd Street for a year. And on my 30th birthday, he gave me a book on type A behavior. I'd never heard of type A behavior. And he said, read this, it's you. And I read it and I was like, wow, okay. I don't really see myself as this. And I'll read you what the words were, what the description. First of all, who here considers himself type A? Kevin, your hand is not up? Seriously? You don't know yourself. Okay. You're really not putting your hand up, huh? Thank you. Cressa, did you have your hand up? No. Steve did, of course. You didn't have your hand up? Okay. So, I'm going to call you all out. Did you put your hand up, Corrine? No. Anthony, you did. Doug, did you put your hand up? Halfway. You're type A minus. Got it. Okay, so here's what a type... Michael, are you standing because you're type A? Michael, are you standing because you're type A? No. Okay, good. So is your wife, by the way. Yeah. Oh, you're saying no, you're not type A? I don't feel type A. Okay. Steve, what about you?
That's what the A stands for.
Tiffany, what does the A stand for? Here's what it is, okay? I'm going to read these, and then you all can tell me, Takeshi, whether you are a type A. Robbie, are you a type A? No. Okay, here's a go. Fast-paced, competitive, high-achieving, Eric, multitask-oriented, ambitious, perfectionistic, focused, and outgoing. So how many of you now think you are type A personalities? Yeah. You're A minus. There's no such thing. So here's the thing that I want to get to. Besides the fact that I am all of those things. I am all of those things. I probably did come out of the womb with the conditioning to be those things, but the competitive thing came because I came second in my household to an older brother who was perfect. He was that perfect first son that they were so happy they had. And then I came along, the second son that should have been a daughter. And had they really paid attention, they could have gotten half of it at least. Right? So I was the second son and living in the shadow of a very handsome, butch, athletic older brother. So I had to compete. I had to compete for attention. I had to compete to get people to notice me. I mean, literally, I was very competitive from an early age because of that. So does that mean I was born type A, or that my situation caused me to step into something that then identified me, and then I bought it when I was 30 when they showed me what it meant? Because I was very competitive. Now, did that competition serve me well? Yes, it did. I loved auditioning in New York. I loved to go in and get the part. I loved the audition more than the work itself. I really did. I'd be like, oh, now I got to do the show. But I would go in. And I loved one day I went into an audition, and this guy, I walked by him, and this guy went, well, we should all go home. And I was like, well, you betcha. You should all go home. And then he said to me, you know, if it weren't for those muscles of yours, you wouldn't get the part. And that has stuck with me forever. I was like, really? It's not my talent? It's the body? Well, whichever. Whatever it takes, right? Right, Carol? Whatever it takes. So why I'm bringing this up today, am I all of those things today? Am I type A today? Yes. No, I am not. I am not type A today. You can say yes all you want, Eric, and keep shaking your head. But no, I'm really not type A today. If I go back to those things, first of all, my competitive edge has all but disappeared. Wow, this is going to be a tough room. What do you think I'm competing for? There's nothing for me to compete. What? Poker. Oprah? Poker. Oh, well, in the bowling, in those moments, I can be competitive. But I don't care so much about losing anymore. I lose at a lot of things. I lost at Oh Hell. How many times? Karen, poor Karen. She lost every game, bottom of the list at every game. And it didn't bother you at all, did it? She was like, I'm never playing that game again, ever. Yeah. No, but that's not the competition I'm talking about. I'm talking about the competitiveness with yourself and life. Wanting to be more, wanting to beat that person out, wanting to get more than this person, wanting to be more famous, more acceptable, more of a star. I don't have that quality, frankly, to be honest, and all ego put aside. If I had more of that quality, I'd probably be much further along in that area. But as Kevin will tell you, I very often shy away from that these days because it's not my nature anymore to try to compete and become something. My nature now really reflects my spiritual understanding that I don't have to become anything. I just need to be. I need to be who I am. But that really brings up the question, doesn't it? Do I understand who I am today. That's the understanding we're going to talk about this month. What do you understand about yourself? Really understand. Understand in such a deep way that it shows up in the way you behave. It shows up in the way you live your life. It shows up in the way your life is unfolding for you. And that's really the question. Do I find myself sometimes falling back into that type A behavior? I do. And you know what? It feels uncomfortable. It feels uncomfortable. And it really feels uncomfortable afterwards. And I'm like, wow, that doesn't fit anymore. So I want to give you a definition. The definition of understanding, I'm actually not even going to give you that definition. What I'm going to tell you is that in all the definitions I was looking for of understanding, what came up was the word you used was knowledge. That understanding is knowledge. But I'm here to tell you, understanding is not knowledge. Knowledge is a part of it, and it can be a part of it. For some people, it becomes all of it. All of their understanding is based around, some people, the Bible. That's their understanding of life. And everything is based on what the Bible tells them. So their understanding of themselves and life comes from a book that was written thousands of years ago, and I don't even know who wrote it. If they wrote it, the person that says they wrote it, or that they say the person wrote it. Who knows who wrote that book? But many people, all of their understanding comes from that. Some people, all of their understanding comes from classical psychology. I'm this type of person. It says it right here. Class A personality. I'm a Class A personality, a type A personality, because it says it right here. I just read you all the things. That's me. So I understand that about myself, and then I start behaving as that person. And I live my life from that perspective. Or this thing that always drives me insane, spiral dynamics. You know, someone came up with this idea. Here's spiral dynamics. Oh, I'm green. Oh, I'm orange. I'm brown. I'm blue. I'm insane. Because spiral dynamics says, here's where we are. That's where we are. And then we take it and we live it. We are our own self-fulfilling prophecies. And the question is, can you get to that place where you understand who you are without any of it? And come up with an understanding that is so deep, so spiritual, that life begins to transform. So knowledge, the knowledge we get, creates our points of view. We have the point of view we have about certain things because we've been taught certain things. And yesterday was so great to hear Mr. Stoltman talk about how they bucked everything they were told, all the knowledge, and just did what they felt was what theirs to do. And it changed the dynamics of that winery. So what in you are you ready to listen to that may change the dynamics of your life, of who you are, of what you are? We all may be sitting here today living lives of someone else. Not our true selves, but the self that we've created out of all those years. I no longer compete with my older brother. I mean, the competition's over and I won. So there's just no, I don't compete with him. I actually love him now. I don't have to compete with him. I told Kevin the other day, my father wrote me a letter once, truly once, but he mailed me this letter to New York City, to my apartment when I was acting in New York. And I got the letter and I felt weird. I was like, my father's writing me a letter? What happened? What did I do? And it was this long letter telling me that he wished he had had the life I was having. And that I was living all of his dreams. And it was really a touching letter. And we never really discussed it. I mean, I called him to talk to him about it, but my father was a very proud Irish Catholic cop. So, you know, he must have had an emotional moment and wrote that letter and mailed it. And then when I brought it, he goes, oh, yeah, I'm glad you got it. That was pretty much it. But it really impacted me. I thought, so have you not followed, you did not follow the life you wanted to have. You lived the life you thought was yours to live. My father was an amazing singer and actor. And it's funny, I tried to talk him into doing a show once because they were casting this role in a show called Can I Have My Wife Back, Please? And my mother was very jealous. And so he came and auditioned for the lead in this play at the Community Theater Playhouse, which was a very successful Community Theater Playhouse, and he got the lead. And he went home, my mother read the script and said, no, you're not doing this. Because he had to kiss another woman in the play. And he didn't do it. I had to go back and tell the producer, I was like, yeah, he can't do it. He's not allowed out. Pretty much that was it. And I look at those things and I think, where am I still saying you're not allowed to do it? You can't do that because of this. You can't do that because of this. You can't do that because here's who you are. So you and I, we are conglomerates of our point of views and our AEPs, our already established premises of life. So our points of view and our already established premises of what this life and what this world is all about, that's what we are. So I actually want us to, you'll do the slides for me, won't you, Swan? I want us to talk about spiritual understanding, which you brought up already. So here's a quote, which Brad pretty much could have written himself. Understanding that rests in what it does not understand is the finest. Now just sit with that for a minute. This is Zhuangzi, and I want to tell you who that is. One of the ancient, well, it is a person, but it ended up being one of the ancient Chinese texts in Taoism. So this is 476 to 221 BC, thousands of years ago. And here's what it's about, that way of life. Becoming one with the way of nature and eliminating sets of dualistic beliefs such as good and evil, life and death, human and nature, and a promotion of oneness. This was over 2,000 years ago. They had it. They had the key. They had the understanding that rests in what it does not understand. Brad stood up here and said, I don't know. I don't understand what we're doing in this class. I don't understand a lot of it, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling something about it. And I have to be honest, I don't understand a lot of quantum mechanics and quantum physics, but boy, am I starting to understand where it's taking us and what we're feeling. So the understanding I want us to pursue this month is this understanding. That place in you where you don't need to gather all the knowledge to figure something out. That place in you where you can put the knowledge down and listen to something bigger than you. There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it because you are it. That's our whole philosophy. Maybe this month we start living that philosophy, that understanding, right? So, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe said this: everyone hears only what he understands. So you may think you're getting it. You may think you're hearing what you need to hear, even today. Everyone in this room and everyone out there, you're only hearing what I'm saying based on the level of understanding you've allowed yourself to get to. So you'll take every fifth word, every 10th word, maybe every sentence, every other sentence, and it will work for you because part of you is already in an understandable agreement with that. And I'm suggesting put all that aside and open up your mind and open up your heart this particular month, because it's time for us to hear more than what we critically think we understand. It's time for us to understand deeper than what we're willing to understand in our lives. And perhaps it's time for us to understand at a much deeper level. And I knew I was going to come in here and talk about this today, and I thought, you know what? The question is how? How do I do this? So I decided today to give you 3 steps to work on all month, okay? So here's step 1. Pay attention to your reactions, okay? Before they turn into opinions and judgments. Could you do that? It's the parentheses that's important. Pay attention to your reaction before it turns into an opinion or before it supports your opinions and judgments. That's number 1. Pay attention to your reactions. Follow them to a quiet place and listen. Take that reaction and personally move it aside and go sit with it. Why did I react that way? What is it in me? that reacts this way. Whatever it is, it can be to yourself, it can be to what someone else is saying, it can be to the television, it can be to whatever's going on that you are feeling the tug, the reaction. Start asking the more important, deeper questions. That's step one. Pay attention to your reactions. Number two, pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your body before your body becomes the issue. Because a lot of people feel what's going on in their body, and now the body's the issue. And we think it's the body that's the problem. It's not. Your body's just reflecting what's going on in your mind, in your heart, in your soul. That's what's going on with your body. So pay attention to your body before the body starts making you pay attention to it with some type of pain or disease or whatever. And I've had those moments. You all know that. I've had the moments where my body has talked to me, and basically it had to become about my body. And then give your body room to feel. I'm not saying pretend you're not feeling what your body's telling you. But take it, move it aside impersonally, and then sit with it and ask yourself, why is my body telling me this? Why do I feel this way? And that goes for everything, little and small. As I used to say, cancer, hangnail. I've had them both. They're both annoying. Okay? That's number two. Number three, pay attention to your feelings before they become your emotions. Now, for those of you that don't understand that part, your feelings are what goes on inside of you. Emotions is when you emote them and you let them out and you act upon them and you act from them and you act as them. So pay attention to your feelings. Catch those feelings as they come up. Give your feelings the respect of being and impersonally ask why they're there, and don't assume you know the answer. Don't assume it's because your husband pissed you off. It's not usually it, is it? It's usually something I did. That's what I've been told. So pay attention to your feelings and to your feelings. They're nobody else's feelings, and they're nobody else's fault that you're feeling what you're feeling. Get to the core of it. Get to the juice of it. Why am I feeling this way? So you got those three? If you do those three this month, and I'll put them somewhere, maybe we'll send them out to you all. Dale Carnegie said this: listen first. Give things a chance to talk. All things. People, places, things, emotions, feelings. Give them a chance to talk. Let them finish. Do not resist, defend, or debate. This only raises barriers. Instead, build bridges of understanding. So can I have you guys up here for a minute, please? I'm going to invite you all to take a deep breath. If you could give me that last slide, please, Swan, back to my talk. So this is all about the journey, right? But what I got to at the end of this journey here this morning is it's time for you this month to really spend the month listening. There is a place within you, without of you, there is this beautiful place where when you go there, there is so much to understand, and understanding beyond understanding. So just take a deep breath, close your eyes, and listen.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that silence I find God. I find myself.
Right here in this holy silence, I find myself, I find God, I find that they're one and the same thing. I allow myself to feel what wants to come up, and I ask the question, why am I here? I allow my body to talk to me, and I ask myself, why is this feeling here? I pay attention to the reactions of my world, and I ask myself, what's it about? And I listen into the silence and allow it to show me who I am and what I am, why I am, and where I am. And I say thank you for that. And I just continue to listen. I invite you to take a deep breath.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could ever be said. And right here in this holy silence, I find God. Oh, I find God. I find myself.
An understanding that goes beyond what we see. It rises to the level of who I am. This is what I know.